I've also added on a shorty fender to replace this big honker. Basically it makes it a lot easier for you to see your ski when you're standing up, to see where it is. You have to modify a few things because it only comes with 2 bolt holes that will line up in the bottom of the frame, so I've just taken a little L bracket here out of aluminum, built a couple holes, bolted it through, used the original bolts into the triple clamp, and then I got a couple pegs here to hold the front plate. I'm also going to add a Timbersled number plate bag and put on the front here. I find it's a handy place to have your water, since I don't pack it on my back. Got too much weight on my back with the Abbey bag and everything. Now I've jumped ahead here and installed my chain. When you do your master link, you want to do it on the back sprocket here, get it started, pull together, slip your master link through, put your end plate on, and you'll have to reposition it. If you're going to use a pair of pliers, I wouldn't advise it. I would advise using a proper tool like this to compress the chain, because you can damage the chain link and you don't want your chain coming apart in the bush. I've also power bled my caliper. Power bleeding basically is just a vacuum. I put vacuum on this, open the bleed screw, keep the reservoir full, and then basically sucks all the air out. Last but not least, I want to install my drive sprocket. Little Loctite, 44 foot-pounds of torque. I got my brake clamped on, brake lead, so it's going to hold the track, hold the chain. Okay, there we go. And torque her up. And I've also installed my sprocket cover so you don't get your pants caught. Another thing you're going to want to do is take off your shifter and move it up about a notch. You got to have room for your snow boots, and I have a little extension I've built here. Basically you just take a 1/2 inch tap and tap this out, and I'm going to screw this in, put a little Loctite in it, and that'll extend my shifter so you can get your snow boots underneath it. So there's for the extended shifter. This is just a piece of aluminum rod that I've threaded so it threads in. And of course I've got my bigger snow pegs on for my big boots. So we're just about complete here. I've got the headlight installed. I've used my high beam switch for the headlight. KTM, the 2014 KTM start switch tends to get snowed up or something, so I've incorporated so I can use my horn. Or you also require heated hand grips, so I've installed Oxford heated hand grips. It's got a computer controlled control that won't allow your battery to run dead. Basically it's got settings from 30% to 100%. When the battery starts to get low, it goes on to battery tender or battery save mode. They work really well. I advise when you mount this control to mount it somewhat like this so the wire doesn't continually get bent, because I already had a failure in the wires right here. When you install your hand guards, make sure you install it so the wire is up and out of the way so it's not going to get caught. If you turn it the other way, then the wire is hanging down and it'll get caught on something. So I found this works best. So I've already been out for the first ride of the season, and just want to show you how loose this chain can get. It actually started to make contact with the cover here. You can see the marks. It actually didn't do any damage. So it's probably a good idea to have 11/16 wrench on the hill to be able to adjust this on your first ride. You'll find that after 3 or 4 rides, the chain will start to stay tight because it's done all its stretching. And then the main chain, I haven't adjusted that either. And you can see how much plays on that. Adjustment's pretty basic. Just loosen off the nut. Take 2 fingers. Pull as tight as you can with some tension. Snug it up. And about as tight as it should be. Main chain, you just back off the back lock nut and just basically take your fingers, and it's kind of like a snowmobile. You just Take it, turn it as tight as you can turn it with your fingers. Gives you nice tension on your chain, but not excessive. And just tighten up. Other maintenance is you want to make sure you spray your chain with a chain lube. This is quite a good synthetic lube. And I've got my suspension hung up here so I can actually start it up and lube the chain.